sun is setting through those blinds, through the window pane. You're still the last thing on my mind at the end of the day. Reaching out to grab my phone, boy, I guess I should have known. Since it didn't ever light up, no, you ain't thinking about me. It's 3 a.m., I'm staring at the ceiling fan spinning. What feels like hours has only been a few minutes of trying to distract myself and think about something else. But then my whole world stops when it finally rains. You'll never see my smile from your side of the screen whenever your name shows up. And you'll never know what it's doing to me and how it's making my heart drop. You know just what to do and just what to say if I'm there with you and miles away. Didn't touch my phone before you came around. I can't ever put it down. I can still remember the night of our first date. No, you couldn't walk me to my door 'cause it was pouring down rain. For I could even grab my keys. You already texted me right there. I was falling in love, but when I turned around, you were already gone. You'll never see my smile from your side of the screen whenever your name shows up. And you'll never know what it's doing to me and how it's making my heart drop. You know just what to do and just what to say if I'm there with you miles away. Didn't touch my phone before you came around. I can't ever put it down. Yeah, put it down. Reaching out to grab my phone, boy, I guess I should have known that you'll never see my smile from your side of the screen. Every your name shows up, and you'll never know what it's doing to me and how it's making my heart drop. You know what to do and what to say if I'm there with you miles away. Didn't touch my phone before you came around. I can't ever know. I never touched my phone before you came around. I can't ever put it down. I can't ever put it down. You know I can't. You know I can't.
It's lunchtime and the Brooklyn Cafe is open for business. Live from the Amp Media Studios, Dawn and Freddie S. and their team are ready to serve up a huge portion of fun for lunch with friends and neighbors. So let's break open that lunch pail and unwrap that sandwich you brought and take a front row seat in the Brooklyn Cafe and get ready to enjoy some humor and hot topics. It's time to get a healthy serving of hope and happiness to help your day go by with a smile. Your hosts, Dawn and Freddie S., are ready to talk about food, health, dating, or just plain dream making. If you have a story to share, movie review, restaurant critique, or just a coincidental thing that happened to you, call in toll free 888-994-4995, Studio A right now. Sit back and enjoy your lunch break at the Brooklyn Cafe. Here are your hosts, Dawn and Freddie S.
Welcome. The day after Christmas.
Kind of.
And all through the house, nothing was stirring, not even a mouse. I gotta tell you, it's cold. I know that people are gonna say 60 ain't cold. For me right now, I got the coldness of the weekend still in my body.
You and Lynn are still wrapped up, and I'm thinking the fan's not on.
Wrap. And don't turn nothing on. Not a fan, not the AC, nothing.
It's a little warm.
But she comes in here and she sings, it warms up the studio, so that's kind of cool.
The music of Alyssa Marie Kuhn. I got to tell you, you can check her out all over Spotify, all over social media. This young lady is, I'm so grateful she's here. She's going places. She's off to school doing her thing and just spectacular.
And this week, I've asked, Kendra's coming tomorrow. I got some surprises for Thursday and Friday because I want the singers to come in so we can finish the year strong, finish the year with friends that are doing their own thing. They're doing their shows and everything else. We may even have a Josh sighting.
A what?
Josh. But I want him to get dressed up in a costume when he plays this time.
Well, we can't do an elf anymore. What should he wear for New Year's? What
He
kind of
could be,
costume?
he could be a baby in a pamper. Do you, baby?
Well, happy what's today? Tuesday, everyone. Welcome back to our midday show. It's been a minute, they say. Last Friday, I guess we were out at a holiday party. We're up at the radio station, so True Oldies invited us up there. It is our sister affiliation. It's where we send all of our shows on radio. 6 local radio stations from North Miami all the way up to Fort Pierce. We've got 4 FMs, an AM, and an HD. And coming soon, you won't even need to change the channel. It will pick up the next signal as you cross county lines. So that's coming on, which is pretty cool.
Very cool. Vic will be spinning records
Oh, New Year's, right?
with Scott Shannon down at the new
Harris.
down in the racetrack in Fort Lauderdale.
Took over like the Pompano racetrack. It's the new Harris coming out, so he's going to be spinning some oldies. So go check that out on New Year's Eve.
That should be interesting. I haven't heard him spin in a long time, but he tells me he does it all the time. So
It was a nice party. The radio station looks fantastic. You see some old equipment up at the new station, some new people, some old people. It was like this whole great melting pot with a whole lot of food for Bailey.
we had the whole Boca contingency
It was nice to bring the crew up there, right?
represented. Yeah, it was nice. Nice. That whole thing was nice.
So Christmas, everyone did their thing. Today is apparently better sales than Black Friday. So if you are looking for equipment, apparently that's it. Headphones, equipment, small cooking appliances, anything like that, go check out those deals. Knives, they say, are down at deep discount. If only I could.
You know, we are supposed to be working with Amazon.
This would be the week, Teddy, for us to be doing these Amazon influencers.
They sent me pages and pages of sales.
This would be the week.
So we should take pages of stuff out of there. and
This
see
would
what's
definitely
good.
be the week to
I
promote these
I need
events.
a couple of wires, by the way. HDMI wires,
So
50 feet, 75
Now would be
feet.
the time to do it.
All right, I
Great
got
sales,
some.
lots of things happening. We've got Alyssa Kuhn joining us. Her music is amazing, and because she is on winter break, she's gracing us with her presence on this Tuesday afternoon. We've got Louise Gomez and Lynn Everard, our hosts of the Editor's Desk, and Josh is over there on microphone. I think he's got something to say.
No, I just have a mic, just in case.
He's ready.
I'm ready.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Are you going to bang in the new year with new Josh, new and improved?
No, probably the same old me, but I'm sorry.
So I actually got to break my boots out 3 days in a row. Kind of cool. They may never come out again for another year, but it's nice when I can actually.
You can wear boots all the time. You
It
don't
gets
need
a
to
have-
have-
hot.
Why hot?
It gets a
You
little
take
hot.
temperature in this thing?
So we're saying my mom's going to the rehab hospital today, and she only wears flip-flops. And we go, Mom, can't wear flip-flops when you're learning to get acclimated again for walking. Do you have any closed-toed shoes? She says, yes, I've got my sequin purple boots. I could take those.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing. And any sneakers? Yes, my peak sequin sneakers are next to my purple sequin boots. I said, no one's going to ever see you come. And the lady in the purple hair is walking down the rehab hospital with purple sneakers and pink sequin boots, and she's good to go. This is what we're at.
What'd you drink?
Nothing, apparently. So I'm just glad Mom's getting out of the hospital.
True that. Mom has to get out and about. Got to bring in the new year and the new ring. We're going to have Lindsay Martinez is going to be joining us this week and talk about the proper and improper things to eat to lose weight efficiently.
No, you got to start after this week. Christmas just does not count.
I know, but you know how you always say next year I'm going to lose pounds and blah, blah, blah. You never do. You gain pounds. And he says, that's always the next year.
I know.
She says it's because you're not eating point-wise. You're not doing it correctly. So
She's gonna come in on Thursday?
Yeah, she's going to hook us up.
Women over 40 and 50, you don't want to miss that. Alyssa, you don't have anything to worry about right now. So you just enjoy being you. Let's check in with Alyssa. How about that on the other side of the studio?
Let's do that.
How have you been?
I've been good. I've just been really busy. I actually just had surgery too, so I was in the hospital for a week there for a little while, like 2 weeks ago. So this is actually one of my first times singing since. But yeah, I just been, working and singing and getting things done with the break and everything. It's nice to have a break and to spend, the holidays with family and everything. That's always nice.
How are you feeling after surgery?
I'm good. So I actually had this rare thing called osteomyelitis in my jaw, which is like double rare because it could happen from wisdom teeth surgery, and it's like a 0.4% chance that this could happen. So basically, osteomyelitis is like bone death, and it's a bone infection. So I had to go to get surgery and get it out and everything, and then be on IV antibiotics, which wasn't fun. But I just got my IV taken out of my arm today. So it's been a pretty good day for me, recovery.
And she's still smiling
Yeah.
and singing.
Are you in any pain?
My jaw is a little bit when I try to open it more than I can.
Like
but
when you sing?
it's mostly not really when I sing. I don't really think
Wow.
about it that much. But
That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of like, everything happens for a reason, I think. So, that like taught me some lessons too, and, maybe teach other people something that they didn't know could happen from that kind of surgery. I mean, like, you think it's just pulling teeth, but it ended up affecting my whole jaw. So,
And did you spend more time writing more music? Because you write your own music.
yes, it actually did like kind of inspire me, like when I was in the hospital to like write. I also got into reading a lot of books, which helped me inspire writing too, because like reading books based off a story, like you can write songs, kind of like inspired by those stories that you read. So
What kind of books do you like to read?
I love, right now my favorite author is Colleen Hoover. I know that's one that many people my age are like really liking. Her books are just really great. They really tell good stories too, so they're very interesting. If you like reading, you should check them out.
How did the books inspire you? New lyrics, new thoughts?
I guess lyrics and thoughts. I mean, I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but I read this book maybe someday, and it was about a girl who fell in love with a musician who was deaf, and I thought that was really inspiring. I won't spoil anymore, but that book is really awesome. If you're a musician and you maybe know some things about like ASL and stuff like that, I think that would be cool to check out.
Did you ever see Coda?
No.
You got to check that out.
Yeah, you
If
gotta
you
see
like
it.
that book, then you will love the movie Coda.
Coda? Okay, I will
It's a great
definitely
movie.
check that out.
She is a hearing musician and singer with deaf parents.
Oh my gosh, that's cool.
And I believe CODA stands for Children of Deaf Adults, is what I think it stands for.
Okay.
And how she bridges the gap for her parents with music
That's awesome.
through ASL and through singing and finding who she really is in the non-signing world.
Yeah.
Then you'll love the movie.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. I'll let you know what I think. I love things like that. It's so fascinating.
I wanted to ask you, what do you do for hobbies? What do you do? What makes you every day, weekend? What do you do?
Pretty much my whole entire life revolves around music of some sort, but I go to the gym a lot. I haven't in the past 2 weeks or at least month because of my surgery and everything, but I'm able to go starting tomorrow, so that's exciting. I am a little bit of a gym rat. I like to be at the gym, but that's pretty much the only hobby besides music and hanging out with friends, I guess.
Do you play sports?
I used to do kickboxing,
Of course
and
you
I
do.
also played volleyball in middle school and stuff, but not anymore. I don't really have time to like commit to like a sport like that, but they're really fun to play like on the weekends with friends,
And you're always happy like this.
Yeah, I mean, there's moments when I'm like,
Dad,
not,
she always
but-
like this? Pretty much? Pretty much. How great is that? To be 18 again, right? And just to be able to dream, and the world is right there for you. Anything you want, you can go take.
Aw, thank you.
What's happening on the school front? Any other new ideas?
Not really. I just, I got accepted into the music business at Belmont, so I'm pretty positive that's where I'm going to be next fall. So that's pretty exciting. I really want to go there. So, just having to push through this last semester of senior year. Everything's pretty easy, though. So,
And you're looking to go to Tennessee.
yes.
Did you see the Dolly Parton movie last night? It's been on a couple years. It's really her life story.
I haven't seen it, but I've heard a lot about it. I was just actually in Pigeon Forge, where Dollywood is. which I got to sing at Blake Shelton's restaurant, Old Red, up there in Gatlinburg over Thanksgiving, and that was really cool. And of course, that whole town like revolves around Dolly, which I think she's amazing. She's a literal queen. So
Yeah, you were on stage with a gentleman that was playing the guitar. I posted it on our page. I saw you up there.
Yeah, that was actually I think the one video you're talking about was at Old Red Orlando.
Yes.
Same, restaurant, but that's my guitar player.
You get around.
I try.
She was in front of people and they heard you play and everything else. Was that fun?
Which one?
The one in Orlando?
Oh, yeah, that's always fun. I love it there. Great environment, people travel and go there to see some country music, so it's always cool to play for them, and meet lots of people, because, Orlando is like the tourist town, so it's awesome.
What is it about country music that you love more than, because you like country kind of pop-ish.
Yeah.
But what about those genres that you really like?
Well, something that I really love besides like the musical aspect is country music really tells like a story. And most people are like, oh, country music, it's like a guy talking about drinking beer and stuff like that. But, it's a lot more than that too. Like an artist I really look up to nowadays, her name is Lainey Wilson. She's making her big break right now. She's doing amazing. Her lyrics are just something that you can like really connect to, and also the music is just so amazing. I was talking to my dad about this. I almost like cried over this guitar solo because it was like so like mind baffling to me. I don't know, just something about Lainey Wilson is awesome. But country music, you get things like that where just the music's awesome and also like the lyrics, and it always tells a story. So I feel like I connect most to that.
It's interesting because, and Lynn is an author, and Louise, they wrote a book. We're going to talk about that. But you would think everything, every lyric, every song tells some sort of story.
Yeah.
Right? That's the point of the lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, country music, it's a different type of story. It's something that everyone can resonate with somewhere, even like J.D. Danner's song. Different genre, but when you actually, maybe because I can understand them, right? You can feel the heart and soul of the music.
Yeah.
Is that something that's so important to you?
Yeah, I really agree. That is like a great way to put it too. So.
It's getting the lyrics. All right, we've got one more before we go to commercial break.
Okay, cool.
All right, we got Alyssa Kuhn. Alyssa Marie Kuhn, you can find her all over social media, Spotify, download it. When we come back, we're going to talk about her music video as well.
Let's go to 3.
You've got that hair slicked back, I like it like that. Ocean blue eyes, just my type, make me want you so bad. You've got that camo hat with an American flag. I'm showing all the signs, read between the lines, heart's beating so fast. You have no idea that I'm into you. You need to get a clue, you're so oblivious. I think I make it kinda obvious. When I trip over my words and act a little nervous, you got me wondering why you're so oblivious. I think I make it kinda hard to miss. When I'm moving too close and wait for you to notice, you got me doing this, 'cause you're so oblivious. You're so oblivious. Is it that you already know, or are you putting up a show? Is it just a game? Do you love the chase, or do you want to take it slow? I'm dropping so many hints that I'm into you. You need to get a clue. You're so oblivious. I think I make it kinda obvious. When I trip over my words and act a little nervous, you got me wondering why you're so oblivious. I think I make it kinda hard to miss. When When I'm moving too close and wait for you to notice, you got me doing this, 'cause you're so oblivious. You're so oblivious. You're so oblivious. I think I make it kinda obvious. You got me waiting on you, I don't know what to do. Yeah, you got me wondering why you're so oblivious. Kinda obvious. When I'm moving too close and wait for you to notice, you got me doing this, 'cause you're so oblivious. Yeah, boy, you're so oblivious. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Known for his Art Deco Cubist style and compositions with dancing saturated color, Ken Bieberman has lived and breathed art his whole life. From the early 80s, he's influenced the Art Deco district of Miami Beach. Featured in numerous restoration projects, hotels, galleries, and clubs, Bieberman creates for everyday folks and celebrity clientele. He's also the proprietor of Art Repro, a giclée and scanning company in Pompano Beach. When it comes to scanning high resolution, size is not an issue. Professionally scanning art up to 10 feet and 64 inches in width, Art Repro utilizes state-of-the-art equipment. On quality canvas or paper, archival ink and printing mediums are put to use. Art Repro ensures colors are true and every nuance of the art is captured, including the canvas weave. Perfection is the priority. Contact artist Ken Bieberman today at 954-547-0095 or visit his website www.artrepro.net.
Being a successful woman in business means having the courage to own who you are. We understand the challenges faced by women, and we are here to help. Our team is here to develop the best strategy designed just for you. Your path is unique, and with the right tools, you can accomplish your dream. From radio to TV, from podcasting to magazines, we create the visibility to amplify your impact in business. At New Dawn Media, we are here to help bring your message forward and help your business flourish. It is time for your message to be seen and your voice to be heard. Contact us at 866-224-5422 or brooklyncafe.tv. Your voice can make a difference.
Le Sorel Restaurant, home of the authentic Italian tradition, offers a large menu that consists of seafood, steak, homemade pasta, brick oven pizza, and homemade desserts including a wide wine selection. We also have the best bar in Boca Raton with delicious cocktails, homemade limoncello, cappuccino, Italian espresso, brandy, and other specialties. Open every day with a lunch and dinner menu. For more information or to make a reservation, contact lesorelrestaurant.com or call 561-235-5301.
There is no way to ignore it. You hear it on the news, online, from your friends and family. What happened to my money? Whether it got hit by falling stocks and bonds, with the coronavirus, shrunk by a floundering 401k with low interest rates, and is riding the extreme ups and downs of the stock market with political elections. Many Americans are worried about their money and how they're going to retire. Help protect your financial future now and call J.D. Milberg for your complimentary book from a leading financial firm that shows you ways not to run out of money whether the market goes up or down. This free book reveals little-known truths about annuity strategies in simple-to-understand terms that can protect your money for a lifetime. As a bonus, we'll also throw in a free annuity rate report summarizing the rates and benefits of annuities from hundreds of top-rated insurers, helping you to find ways to get up to 33% more income in retirement. That's right. 2 books, both absolutely free, for calling J.D. Mellberg. Help protect your financial future.
Call 877-643-3015.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
And we're back. You know, I've been ringing this bell for years.
You know, every time you ring that bell, I always say an angel gets his wings. So I was watching It's a Wonderful Life this weekend, and sure enough, every time Clarence would ring the bell, Clarence got his wings. That's what I always think about every time you ring the bell.
For 8 years. It's a long time.
It's a lot of angels up there, I guess.
A lot of ringing.
A lot of wings.
A lot of ringing.
Giving a lot of wings.
Everywhere.
You know, when you meet those people and those guys are just oblivious. You meet them and you're like doing everything you can. You think they can read your mind, and clearly
So
no,
guys
because
are oblivious.
guys, I think, are kind of
Not
oblivious.
women. Guys.
You think women are oblivious? No. No.
I think women are very oblivious.
I think we know what's going on. You just don't realize we know what's going on.
Is that what it is?
Pretty much.
I think you're oblivious.
Yeah.
I think you do this on, like timing. Like you do something to get a reaction.
No.
Very clever, you, oh wise hopper. Yeah, I think so.
The music you're listening to is from Alyssa Kuhn. She's going to stay with us for a little bit, but we're going to check in with our hosts of the Editor's Desk, Louise Gomez and Lynn Everard. I have to tell you guys, Josh's been reading this book in the back.
Oh, good.
He's secretly reading it in the back, and he's like, that's a really good book. He says, they write really well. He loves the story of your past lives.
Wow. That's amazing. I'll have to talk to him when he's finished.
The reuniting of 2 past lives, the unveiling of 12 sacred lessons. You know, books always have a story. But what I find so interesting about you guys is you keep it quiet. Like, I think if I had a soulmate from a past life, I would want to scream it from the rooftops and say, this is who we were, and this is what we're doing now, and this is why life is either more difficult or easier, or why it's smooth sailing. Like, to hone in on that, because what a gift to be able to reconnect with the soul.
It is a gift, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Lynn and I came back here to share those 12 sacred lessons, and we have a lot of plans for 2023 to share those with the world. So it's exciting.
Yeah, and I think for us, it's really I think because we live it. You know, we don't necessarily realize that when other people hear about this, that it blows their minds. Because we were talking with JD about it on our show, after our show Thursday night, and she was blown away.
Yeah.
Right? Because the expectation is that, oh wow, this is going to be all this stuff, but sometimes things go so deep that you know you know what you have, but you've had it, and you have it, so you don't. This is just your life now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
But you don't take it for granted because you know it's a gift, and you're writing about in these 12 sacred lessons.
Yeah, it is a gift, and I think, you know, I'll speak for myself. I've spent the last several weeks working through some of my own childhood stuff that has actually stood in the way of the passion that I want to have about all of this, right? That to be really not just excited about it, but really understanding what this is and the gift that it is. And so I won't go into all those details, but you know, we're still evolving. We're living this life as friends, and we're each still evolving in this life, and then bringing aspects of that life into this life. So it's I don't want to say it's complicated, but it's just we're getting used to it too.
That's true. We are. We are. Right? Because it's a little shocking when you meet somebody and you're like, yeah, I have somebody from past life I met, reunited with them, we wrote a book. Sometimes they look at us like we have 3 eyeballs, right?
Because there are people that do not believe in past lives.
And that's okay, and that's their choice. We don't necessarily want to proselytize to anyone. That's not our agenda. What we want to do is just say, look what happened to us, because we were willing to be open and learn different things. This is kind of what unfolded for us. And it's so beautiful that we were able to bring those 12 sacred lessons into this life. And I always say to Lynn, God, we wrote it really for us to remind us of those lessons, of, so many lessons that we get to share and remind ourselves of on a daily basis, right? So many of those things. And it's just something that we want to share with the world.
Do you see messages all the time?
Yeah.
And just say, oh my gosh, it's been here all along.
Yes.
But you didn't realize it. It's
Correct.
looking at something differently. It happened to me yesterday.
Yes.
And having someone paint my house, and she says, see, you just look at something differently when it's presented in a different light.
That is so true. I had, I think I was like 13 or 14 years old. I had created a piece of artwork that was just from a fantastic art teacher that I had. And I just created it, and I always had it on the side of my bed. And then when I realized I had a past life and who I was and where I came from, and then I looked at the piece of artwork, I'm like, that's who was described to me in my past life reading, who I remembered. Wow. And when I was 13, 14, I did that piece of artwork. It was symbolic of that person. So, like you said, I said seen it so differently then, right? It's amazing.
It's like, you simply complicate it. It's
yes.
like giant shrimp.
Yes,
right?
You're right.
How long have you known each other?
So, Lynn and I met, I say now, what do we know each other, 5 years now?
Probably close to 5 years.
5 years.
Okay, so then I got to ask,
Yep.
5 years and 2 days.
Okay.
You didn't know each other.
Yep.
And you meet each other.
Yes.
And I want to be a fly on the wall. How does the conversation arise about heading down this path? Because the two of you must have had so many common things or seen things, or what happened?
That's a great question. So it's multi-layered in the sense where I had a past life reading probably about 4 years ago, and independent of, and nobody knew this person. She's from New York, very well known. She had studied under Dr. Brian Weiss, who is the father of past life readings and regressions. So she studied under him. So I got a past life reading from her because we had a great connection. She was very in tune. I had a discovery call, and when she told me all these things about people who'd passed away, and I didn't know her, I was like, this is amazing. She's spot on. Like, she brought forth my mother, my grandmother, my dog. I was like, I don't know who this lady is, but she gets to do my past life reading. So she does this past life reading, and she tells me I was the lover to a king in Mexico 500 years ago, and I made him rich. I did all these land deals, and I thought about it, and I said, oh, that makes sense. Because when I was 19, I went to Mexico, and I had an aha moment like, oh, my God, I was here. You know, when you go somewhere, and I felt it. I was like, I told my boyfriend at the time, I was here in a past life. I know that. So fast forward 4 years ago, she gives me all that information, which I told nobody about that information. So then here comes Lynn in this intention group that we had created through a mutual friend. She said, let's do an intention group from a book, Dr. Lynn McTaggart. It's called The Power of 8. I was like, yeah, I want to do an intention group. Everything starts with intentions, right? So we do this intention group. Lynn comes along, and lo and behold, he starts talking about a past life he had in Mexico, 500, like checking off the box of this list of what this lady had told me. I'm like, oh, this can't be. How does this happen? So then on that fateful day on December 16th, he calls me up. We were talking, it was the holidays. What are we going to do about this intention group and this and that? And then it kind of hit me because I said, Lynn, how are you feeling? I know you were under the weather. And then I could have sworn he said, everything is good, except I spent the weekend in jail in Mexico. I'm like, Lynn, did I just hear you say you spent the weekend in jail in Mexico? And you were like, well, you could take it from here. What did you say, Lynn?
Because I didn't say that.
I could have sworn. Did you
I
ever
could have
like,
sworn you said that right now.
I could have sworn he said that to me. I'm like, am I hallucinating? What am I hearing this? And then what did you say?
I don't remember what I said at that
You
point.
said, remember, I was the king
Oh,
in
that's
Mexico
right,
500
okay.
years ago,
Yeah.
and then it just dawned on me. No pun
No pun
intended.
intended.
It just dawned on me. I was like, oh my God, Lynn, wait a minute. You said you were a king in Mexico 500 years ago. You knew nothing about my reading. And it's like checking off the boxes. Aztec Mexico, 500 years ago, he was the king. I was supposedly the lover to this king, according to my past life reading. And then it just clicked. As soon as he said that, floods and floods of memories. I was like, I gotta go. I just started everything's like a
Wow.
door opened up.
Yeah.
And then I
yeah.
just started writing about my past life. In Mexico, I was his seamstress. I made his clothes. That's how I had access to the king. And then I start writing. And then I had the title of the book, The 12 Sacred Lessons. I started remembering all these lessons I was to teach you. And then then COVID came. We were like, we're not going to do an intention group. We're just going to write this book, right? We
Right.
converted it to a book writing session.
Yep.
Every week he came over. I would write, he would write. It was like a puzzle. I was like, okay, I wrote this, you wrote that, and we kind of like put the pieces together, and we created and formulated the story from our memories. And I looked at nothing. I looked at no history books. I was just writing. And I even had names come to me. Like there was this Don Ramon Castillo, and my son was like, do you even know who that is? I'm like, I have no idea. The name just came to my head. So they start researching, and he came on the ship with Cortez to Mexico. I'm like, oh my God, no idea. It was like a portal in my mind just opened up.
What does all of this information you're giving us, how does it affect your life today?
That's a great question. I would say I have tapped into an intuitive part of my soul. And once I tap into that, I'm now trusting myself more to access it more and more. Because it's a certain amount of trust. That's one of the sacred lessons, right? Trusting ourselves. And because that happened, it allowed me to not question myself and trust myself more. And that kind of grows and expands. So I feel that I've tapped into an intuitive part of me that is really powerful now. And I'm really using it more and more till this day. Yeah, for sure.
And what I took away from it, I think the first thing I took away from it was that, wait a minute, I was a king in a past life. And, here I've kind of been living my whole life as something other than a king. And so there was a shift in my attitude that, wow, like I was a king. What did that mean? And how could I take some of that kingliness, if that's even a word, and bring that into myself in this life? And then as we kept going along, there are two really important things that started to surface for me. And that was the value of understanding, of connecting with past lives. And again, we're not all going to have the same experience in this lifetime. Some people aren't going to connect at all, and this won't resonate with them. Other people will. But we've just gone through a period of time where fear of death has been overwhelming in our world. And if you understand that you've had past lives, then it's a logical next step to believe that you can have additional lives, future lives, after this one. So it's not one and done. So I don't have to fear anything at the end of this life. It's just like, oh, well, I'll just go into a transition process where I'll maybe go into another life. And again, we don't know any of this stuff for sure. The other piece for me that was really fascinating was that we all have way more gifts and talents than we realize we have.
Right.
And sometimes what it takes is for us to have an exposure to our past life to realize that they even exist within us. And so as we start to understand that we had gifts, talents, and abilities in a past life, we realize that they're accessible to us now, in the present moment, in this life. And you know, everybody's heard of the 5-year-old piano virtuoso,
Right.
the 2-year-old that's a golfer, right? I actually was at an event maybe 5-6 years ago, maybe longer than that, where there was this 5-year-old boy from Russia, and he was a virtuoso on the piano. He played for us that night. Incredible. Well, how does that happen? Where does that come from? It's got to come from somewhere. And so if you look and you see that, you know, maybe this kid was Mozart in a past life, or Bach, or someone like that. That, oh, well, that's why he can do this, because he spent a whole lifetime doing it.
Yeah.
And so he knows how to do it. And so that's why it, you know, past lives, the idea of past lives, or you call them parallel lives, whatever you want to call it, yes, there's a piece of it that seems way out there, but it's also incredibly practical for us right now in this lifetime that each of us is living.
What do you do when you meet somebody who you recognize as part of that era? Somebody on the outside, the two of you, especially the two of you together. I can imagine how many times this has happened. And the other person, the third person, they do the opposite of what JD did. JD was like, wait a minute, hold on a second. She was all in. She wouldn't put her guitar down for like an hour. I felt sorry for the woman, and they didn't sit because she was into it. I could see that. But what do you do when somebody says, I really don't understand what the hell you're talking about? I don't see it, but you see it. And then you start explaining things that they have done or things that they like to do, and they're just looking at you like you're a warlock. Or, I mean, how do you address that?
Can I tell them the story? This is really fun.
Sure.
This is a fun fact. So Lynn even had a paper from 1977 he wrote about Aztec Mexico.
Wow.
So, and he brought it over. He had the original and brought it over. So tying it back to that question, sometimes it's things that you're just fascinated and interested in. And you may not even link it up to being like, okay, that was a past life. But this was something that he always had been fascinated with. For me, it came about differently, right? I had gone to Mexico and I just had that, oh my God, I was here, right? So everybody, it hits differently for everybody. For some people, you know, they might meet somebody and they just have this unbelievable connection, whatever it is, or they may go somewhere and have an unbelievable, you know, feeling or idea or belief. So it's so different for everyone, right?
Do you bring them along, though? Do you explain what's going on? So listen, you were there.
Well, I don't try to convince anybody. It's like here, we put the cards on the table, we share with people, you know, different things. And they may have a hit that they came from a past life in wherever, another point in time, but we definitely don't try to convince anybody of, you know, you were here with us or whatever.
We're not campaigning for past lives.
Right, we're just sharing. We're just sharing our unique, it's such a unique experience, right?
But you ever wonder, and we're going to go to commercial break, and then I want to ask Alyssa, because I feel like she's got this past life that she is so talented at such a young age.
You never know, right?
But ever wonder why you were brought together in this lifetime?
Yes.
Is there a greater calling?
Yes.
Is there a message or a mission that you two are supposed to serve together?
Yeah, and
it's in the
actually,
book.
well, it's in the book, but
But
we've
we'll
been
give-
figuring it out
Yeah.
more in more depth, even very recently.
Yeah.
Let's take a commercial break. More to
Answer
come.
that in the back on the other side.
Stay tuned. Give us a call, 888-994-4995, Studio A, and we'll be right back.
In times of economic uncertainty and chaos, your money means nothing. You may not even be able to get it from your bank or ATM. What you can bank on is gold and silver. gold and silver have been a reliable and trusted form of currency for thousands of years. Call the Gold Hotline now and learn how to protect your money and your assets with gold and silver. Protect your money from the next market crash with gold and silver. Call now for your free gold guide.
Born in Marseille, France, Max Lazega creates whimsical and free-flowing interpretive art. His 40 years in the construction industry created the foundation for his craft. His unique work displays his view of the future with bold and playful combinations of materials and processes, but the methodology remains consistent. He fuses recycled materials and discarded building supplies into a fresh, well-executed approach. Lazega has lived in Miami, Florida most of his life, where he pursues his lifelong passion of creating industrial art. For more information, contact Max Lazega at artworkstudios.org or 786-326-8873.
Meet Jay Harmon, one of the many artists held in the Brooklyn Cafe Gallery. Jay specializes in various different art styles, but his medium to work with is colored pencils. His unique style comes from being self-taught and years of practice. Jay pulls his inspiration from many outlets like people, television, celebrities, and many more. With multiple original pieces, Jay's art graces the gallery with over 40 plus works for viewing and for purchase. His many years of being an artist has given him a chance to partner with the Derwent brand, giving him the opportunity to try many different work styles and further his craft. Feel free to come down and visit the studio to view his work, or if you're interested in your own Jay Harmon original, he's open to commissions on his website, coloredpencilartist.com, or catch his show, The Colored Pencil Artist, on Amp Media Productions on YouTube and Facebook. See you soon.
What would you do if you had a broken bone? You'd go to the doctor and use your insurance, right? What would you do if you had a serious problem with drugs and alcohol? Most people do nothing until it's too late. Your insurance can help you get clean and sober with the assistance of a place like the Detox and Treatment Helpline. Many times treatment is fully covered, so why not use your insurance to treat your addiction problem just like you would if you had a broken bone? And with the Family Medical Leave Act, you're allowed by law to take off time from work, and your employer doesn't need to know the reason. So there are two good reasons. You've got insurance you can use for your addiction problem, and with the Family Medical Leave Act, it's completely confidential. Call us right now and save a life.
Call 855-350-4504. That's 855-350-4504. Call 855-350-4504 now.
Want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call, because the best prices are not online. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner. Call today and get the best price on your next flight, guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first-class tickets.
Artist Rosie Sherman paints her passions to share with everyone. Expressing herself through bold and vibrant colors, her suggestion and style are always in flux. Inspired by travels, nature, romance, and the human spirit, Rosie makes sure her depiction of women are strong and proud. Her landscapes illustrate the changing seasons in the diverse world that we live in. To find her artwork in the multiple medias you can purchase, visit rosiesherman.pixels.com.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
asking for nothing. I can't keep doing this. Might as well lose my number. You're a mess that I can't fix. We've had some good times, and we've had some bad. I've got some news for you. You're the worst boyfriend I've ever had. Run, you can't hide. You can't leave me sitting on the curb tonight. Walk right on by. You can't leave me hanging. No, it just ain't right. Boy, it just ain't right. No, you can't do that. No, you can't do that. Oh no. You can't run, you can't hide, you can't leave me sitting on the curb tonight. Walk right on by, you can't leave me hanging. No, it just ain't right. You can't run, you can't hide, you can't leave me sitting on the curb tonight. Walk right on by, you can't leave me hanging. No, it just ain't right. Boy, it just ain't right. No, you can't do that. No, you can't do that. Oh no, no, you can't do that.
Can you imagine being the boyfriend who was the worst boyfriend? Like, did the guy sit and think, oh my gosh, that was me. No, that was me, that was you. And you're thinking it was you, it was you.
It was all of them.
It was all of
the
them
exes.
combined, right?
There ain't one good ex.
Is this on one person or just a combination of?
Well, I was actually pretty young when I wrote this song, so I think it was more based on like stories that I heard. But now that I'm old enough to have some experiences, there's definitely some people in mind that I think about when I sing this song. But,
You know, when she's famous, she's playing at Dollywood, they're going to go, yeah, that was me. I was that worst boyfriend.
I'm famous. I was an ex.
Right? It's like when Courtney Cox got on for Bruce Springsteen or whatever. It's like that one 15 minutes of fame. Yeah, that was me. The next version might be somebody's name in it.
Oh, gosh. I don't know if I could ever do that.
Exes make great music, by the way.
Yes. I mean, look at Taylor
Inspirational,
Swift.
motivational, angritional, all of that.
What country music stars are your inspiration?
Well, since day one, it's always been Taylor Swift. Even now, I think she's so amazing. Also, Danielle Bradbury was one of my biggest inspirations. Kelsey Ballerini, Lainey Wilson, who I was talking about earlier. You know, all those female country artists, they're so awesome. And, you know, I think they are amazing. But Taylor Swift is always going to be my number one, just because she's Taylor Swift.
Well, during commercial break, we were talking about how Lizzo went back to school, and she had been down and out living in her car, and then I guess they found her in American Idol.
Yes.
And 10 years later, she's living Lizzo's life. But her lyrics and what it's like, too, she talked about embracing who she is. And I guess she's got a TV show on streaming about big girls. And she won all these Emmys for it. And she said just about being her authentic self and being comfortable in her own skin, because she's not like the models you see on Vogue. And she said that once she came to those terms and she said, I got to be who I am, the whole world opened up for her.
Yeah.
Does that resonate with you? I mean, you are 18 years old and making music and traveling all over the country and being paid to do it.
Yeah, I mean, Lizzo's so awesome. I think she's truly inspiring too. She's just herself, which I love, and I like look up to people that are able to be themselves. You know, because sometimes like you really do care what people think. Like, oh, if I wear my hair a certain way, are people gonna make fun of me for it? Like, no, who cares? Like, and I think Lizzo's truly like one of those people that I look up to for that too, because I saw her dress up as the Grinch the other day. I actually saw it on TikTok, and I was like dying because it's like, this is so great. Like, she's so confident. I love that about her, and I listen to her music all the time too. I'm in my car driving, listening to Truth Hurts. If you guys know that song, that's my favorite Lizzo song. But she's awesome.
Do you think it's harder for a woman in the music or creative arts industry to be their authentic self?
Sometimes, I mean, I feel like the pressure is definitely on them too, because they feel like, I mean, they feel like they always have to look or be a certain way, which is not always fair. And I think that's something that I really like about country music too, is there's many female country music artists that are like taking a stand for like females in country music, and you know, I think that's really cool. So
you think back to I mean, Dolly Parton, she's just flawless, no
Oh,
matter
yes.
what age she is, right? But there's Loretta Lynn, and there's women that have just aged gracefully through everything.
Yeah.
But they've definitely paved the way for young, I think more than a lot of other music genres. I think women in country music paved the way faster
Yeah,
for women of your generation.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Just think back too, I like the Rat Pack and everything. They're all men, right? But women have been in country music for a long time, and they've been acknowledged in country music for a long time, I feel.
Yeah.
Interesting. So what do you think of Past Lives?
So I thought that was intriguing. I know I talked earlier about how I liked reading, and so I definitely want to read and check it out. I know we were talking over the break about it. I think that is really fascinating and something I would love to have more information about. You know, I've truly never really thought about it like that much before, but maybe it is something that is possible. So I'll definitely have to read the book. I'm really excited to check it out.
There's just so many coincidences that it can't be. You know, you look at your singing ability, you look at baseball players who can hit a ball 5,000 yards, you look at Tiger Woods, you look at LeBron James, you look at certain individuals, and they'll tell you, yeah, I practice and everything else, but so has everybody else. It's just that sometimes the blend is different. Things happen that are different. You know, the two of you met, that's different. Past lives are like a calling card to something to learn for the future and applying it. It's just amazing that the way you sing and the things that you can do, the things that are going to come to you, the things that you're going to take advantage of because of your own assets is amazing. You know, I ask a lot of people about, do they ever have trans lives in the past, they ever see things in the past, and they call it deja vu, or they've been there before, or they've seen this before, and they've never been there before. And sometimes people will say, yeah, I have, and there's no explanation to it except for faith, if you have faith in yourself and everything else that goes on around you. So I think that that's an interesting point that the two of you now will have to live for the rest of your life, because every time I see you, I end up meeting somebody else, and I say, you know something, I got something to ask you. And it happens a lot in here.
Like Sally. And Sally will tell you, based on her past life, once you're of royal blood, she believes that bloodline stays with you. Do you feel like your royal blood has stayed with you in this lifetime?
Well, that's part of what I've been working through. I will say that there is a bloodline that I'm a part of. Will I say it's royal? I don't know at this point.
You ever ask why me?
What's that?
Do you ever ask why me? Why are you in a position?
Well, why is a very interesting question, because we don't always need to know why. And I've been working with a therapist helping him write his book. And he's been helping me understand things that I never knew before. He's been a psychotherapist for 50 years, and he said one of the questions you'd never want to ask people is why? Because they don't know. But, you know, he said you can ask a person, rather than, why do you behave this way? Instead, you can ask them, what hurt you? Because for most of us, the way we act is often a result of something specific in our lives that hurt us. And so I don't know why. I believe in a sense that we kind of sign up for life and have these lessons we come to learn. If we don't learn them, we'll come back and learn them the next time. But again, that's just a belief. I mean, ultimately, we all have beliefs, we all have belief systems, and those beliefs and belief systems shape our reality. And so if I don't believe in something, my chances of experiencing it are probably not very good.
Right.
Right, and that's what Louise was saying in the very beginning, was that because we were open,
Yes.
because we had the belief that this was possible, even though we had never actually talked about it together,
Right.
and saying it was something that could affect us together.
Right.
But we both still had that belief. So if you kind of see the pattern develop, right? And that, I think that's part of what we're experiencing now, right?
And I say, why not me? Consciousness, we're during a time in the world where consciousness is evolving, right? People can call it the Great Awakening, the second coming of Christ, Christ consciousness, whatever you want to call it. It's been spoken about for years and thousands of years. And what it is that as humans, our consciousness is evolving. Or as Cryon would say, our consciousness is connected to the magnetic grid of the Earth, and that magnetic grid scientifically is proven to be, stronger each year. So why not us? We're during a time where people are remembering, past lives, or they're having very unique synchronicities and experiences, and you're like, how does that happen? It's because consciousness is evolving, and as the veil gets thinner, as we choose to believe, or we're open to it, right? I feel like more and more synchronicities can occur, so why not? Why not?
Then
Why
I
not
feel
us?
like there's a greater good, or there should be a greater good or a greater lesson
Yeah.
to have the gift of coming back in this lifetime. I'm having these, like, such a simple explanation. I'm having my wall painted in one of my rooms of the house.
Right.
And they're doing these beautiful textured fleur-de-lis all
Nice.
over the back wall.
Nice.
She was here and you saw it, and so she's doing it in my house. Then I'm watching Sound of Music last week, and there in the convent is this entire wall of fleur-de-lis. So I text the artist, I'm like, oh my gosh, look at this. You're just doing it more glittery version
Right.
of this. So she works on it, and then I go to put all the furniture back last night, and I've got this little makeup powder case, and on top of it is a gold fleur-de-lis. Never
Yes.
dawned on me that now I've got an entire wall of gold fleur-de-lis. And she said, it's just about looking at things from a different perspective. Now, what does that mean? I don't know, but clearly it means there is some message there. When you go look at it, or do you just accept it and say, oh, look at that coincidence? See, for me, I'm like going to start digging and going, oh, what does that mean? So I feel that, like, for you guys, there has to be a greater reason.
Oh, there is.
You were brought back here and to do a show and
Yeah.
to write a book.
Yes, we definitely know the greater reason is to share those 12 sacred lessons with people. Because a lot of those lessons are life lessons that we get to live by and we get to share, right? Like, triggers are a gift, or, willingness to be open, or speaking your truth. Those are all lessons that we learned in that past life that we get to bring forth and teach people. Live it and teach people, So definitely that is the reason why we're here.
Are you more open with each other?
I would say so. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, it's within our friendship, we have what Gary Zukav calls a spiritual partnership, which is really, and you can have this with anyone. It's not just reserved for a marriage or a romantic relationship, but what it really is it's a joining of equals for the purpose of spiritual growth. And so part of our friendship, our spiritual partnership, is to, be as transparent as possible, and also to share things so that, because we don't realize, like, how, if you, most of the time when people are triggered, Okay, it's a memory of something that happened in the past that most likely has nothing to do with the person that, quote, triggered you, right? But if we're not aware of triggers, we will blame them because we think they did something to us when all they did was live their life, be themselves, and, oh, by the way, remind us of some trauma, some struggle that we haven't completely dealt with in our lives yet.
Right.
Right? So that's why they're a gift, because they give us an opportunity to become aware of something that we now can make a choice about resolving or not resolving. And then being able to move forward, not, carrying the burden of that trauma or whatever it was we experienced. And this is not to rule out, going to a therapist. It's all of this works together.
Right.
Because the therapist isn't with you 24/7 or isn't with you, you see the therapist an hour or 50 minutes, once every so often. But if you have someone you're working with or someone that you live with, you see them all the time. So that's really where the work is done.
Right.
The therapist says, I'm going to point you in a direction, but you're doing the work yourself. You have to. Unless the therapist is going to come home and live with you. Well, how many therapists are there going to be if that's what every therapist has to do? Right? So the whole concept doesn't work unless it's actually us living our daily lives with friends and family members and coworkers and associates and all the other people that we meet in the world. All of us are playing a part together in helping each other to grow.
No, and then
Some
I
of
think
us are more involved with one person than another. Don and Freddie, you guys, are you spend a lot of time together.
Right.
So the chances of you triggering each other are pretty good, right?
pretty much. Pretty much.
And so then you get to decide what you're going to do with it.
Ask Teddy. She's like, Mom and Dad are fighting again.
Yeah, we get to decide, are we going to be accountable? Are we going to hold ourselves accountable, or are we going to be the victim? And that was, that was a big lesson for us in that chapter, Triggers Are a Gift, because then we get to really look and say, okay, am I going to be a victim to this story, or am I going to see how did I play a part in that dysfunction? How did I play a part? Why is it triggering me? What is it that I can learn from that? So it's definitely eye-opening so we can be held accountable, and take accountability instead of just being a victim to our circumstances. Yeah.
You have things that you're going to have to decide. It's funny, I was taught at an early age that the lesson for me in life was water is wet. That's it.
In other words, you had to experience your experience.
In other words, if you ever look at water that sustains all of life, what does wet mean? Does it mean feel? Does it mean drink? Does it mean... You got to go through life to find out just how
That's
simple.
right.
It's that simple
Sure.
complexity that you guys
Water's wet, rocks are hard. You
That's
have
it.
to experience your experience.
That's it.
I could tell you all day long water's wet until you experience it. You'll now know what it is, right? I
That's
know.
right. So it's interesting because I hear her sing,
right,
and that lesson comes back.
Mm.
I hear your story, and that lesson comes back. I
Right.
hear Dawn's tales about what she's going through right now, and that lesson
Right.
comes back because the answer to my why is not an answer, and that's why it can never be answer. It's a multiple of answers, and every day you're going to live the answer to that question. It's what you do with it.
Yes.
Is the whole theme of this thing, where you go. Now, is there going to be progressive life? In other words, you finish this, you go to another, you go to another. Is that the way it works, or does it stop eventually?
I believe we continue to come back into this earth to learn lessons. I believe, that's just my belief. I'm not saying anyone has to believe it, but
Which is fine.
Yeah, my belief is that we all come here to learn lessons, and our spirit evolves, and we get to learn. I think I raised my hand and said, I want to learn compassion, patience and love, and I was born into my family. I chose that family so I can learn those. I didn't know what it was going to look like, but I certainly had to learn compassion, love, and patience, right? So those are just my beliefs, that we choose that we want to learn certain things, and then the opportunity presents itself, and we're born into that family to learn those lessons, right?
And then, Lynn, I think about your story.
Yeah.
For you to choose that life. So,
Wow.
like Louise chose hers. I don't know Louise's story as well as I know a little bit of you.
Sure.
Do you think your soul said, oh, I want to choose this heartache, if you so choose, or victim, or empowerment? Or is maybe your calling to break that mold and do something else with this?
Yeah, I think part of it was, some level of understanding that it was time to break the mold, a time to break the pattern within the lineage, and to do that. And so it's funny because a friend suggested to me that I rewrite my story with my dad. Now, my dad's passed away 50 years ago.
Wow.
But I still carry a lot of stuff from him that I'm still working through. And so, I got to make some choices. And I always looked at things very practically. And I said, okay, if you could give me a reason how bitterness would help me. Like if you told me bitterness, if I were bitter toward everyone that I think did something to me, if you could show me how that would help me, I would sign up for it in a heartbeat. But no one could ever show me how bitterness could actually help me and somehow make my life better. So I said, well, that's not going to work. So then I have to make a different choice. And so I made the choice in my life to go from feeling like, in my first book, the dedication is to every child who was unplanned, unwanted, and unwelcomed. And so I'll just share the brief background, and that is that I am a product of incest. And so my father sexually abused at least 3 of my 4 sisters, and he got the youngest one pregnant, and I'm her son. And so it's just a fascinating thing, because when I realized there was work I could do on myself, then I started going through a process, and I have more love in me and around me than I ever dreamed possible, simply as a result of being willing to do the work.
Yeah, if I can say, Lynn, I think that because you were willing to do the work, you decided you wanted to come on this earth to share with others that if you can break the lineage of ancestral trauma, you can now be an example for others to do so. Because you were brave enough to say, I will be born, I will choose this, to break that ancestral trauma and the pattern of abuse. So
maybe only someone with that royal blood
there you go.
can say, you know what?
Yeah.
This is what we're going to do. By decree, we are going to break this. Decree, I never use that word. But we're going, thank you. We're going to break this lineage, and we're going to free, kind of like freeing the people, we're going to free this and take a lesson from this.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You don't even know what to say.
I don't know what to say. You go from one extreme to the other. It's there's a lot to learn in between them, in between what you've experienced and where you are. Again, you sort of have to find yourself on this plane to understand. Maybe that's why he found you, is to sort of ground him into existence, that you are who you are. It doesn't matter any of that other stuff right now, even though it does to you. It's phenomenal, it's why we do what we do, and we've been doing it for such a long time, because everybody has a different story. Some will leave you speechless, and others with their singing and their voices
Still
will
leave you speechless.
Speechless?
That talent, absolutely.
But it's a journey. It's a journey of learn. It's a journey of growth. And you know, I don't know what to say.
So I'd like to say one more thing about that, and that is that every single one of us has the ability to lead the way and show other people who think that they are to this or not enough that they can go out and live the life of their dreams. And sometimes all it takes is one of us who is willing to say, I don't agree with any of the rules that exist. I don't agree with any of the way you people think it's supposed to work. I'm here. I know I have a mission to fulfill, and I'm going to do it. And if you want to follow me, great, but I would rather that you create your own mission and go and create what you came to create in your life. And that really, to me, I don't want to create followers. I want to create other leaders, other people who are willing to go out and work through whatever they have to work through to be able to go out into the world and say, look, if I can do it, you can do it.
Big lessons.
Huge.
And now you get to do that and say, if I can do this and inspire others. Do you ever think of yourself as an inspirational, Alyssa, to teens, to youth?
I mean, I never really think about myself as doing that. I always think like, oh, this person inspires me, that person inspires me, but I never really think about the fact that I may be doing that, or, you know, which is cool to think that that could be something that I do someday. So
I bet you do it now, you just don't know it.
oh, thank you guys.
Truthfully, there are, I want to say kids, but there are kids that can look up to you because your music is clean, your lyrics are clean, your image is clean, that you are a true role model. We've had people on here that promote kids and then turn on their TikTok and I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
But you're true to your authentic self and
thank
your stories
you.
that you share. So I think you're a big inspiration for a lot of kids.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And I'm sure there's kids in your school, the teenagers in your school. There's probably some that love you and some that are jealous of you.
Yeah, I have some great friends, but I also have people at school that I'm definitely not their favorite person, but you know, it happens. Like it's just life, you know. People either like you or they don't, and you know, I'm not gonna let one person that doesn't like me affect my whole entire life. Like, they have their own opinions too, so if I'm not what they like, I'm not what they like, you know.
What are you hoping to achieve through your music? What do you want for you?
I mean, I want to tell a story too. Like, I think music is a way to express yourself, not just with lyrics, but in music. Also, I'm pretty nerdy with that. I'm really a music nerd. So, whether it's through guitar playing or like writing lyrics, I want to be able to tell a story and, you know, inspire people too, like, which is something really cool.
I kind of think she could write the music to your movie for your book.
Right.
Right? You know how like James Bond has all of their music? I feel like she can write this story through her lyrics.
Yes.
For your movie,
Yeah.
for past lives.
Definitely. Mm-hmm.
And bring this all together. Have you guys thought about making this or one of your books into a screenplay?
More like an episodic series.
Okay, but
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. Yeah. We've had Jennifer Grace read that and she said, that's a movie. And we were like, yeah.
You want to write the music for it, Alyssa?
Yeah, let me know.
We've started the initial research into turning it into a screenplay and then finding representation. And so what we may end up doing is writing the screenplay ourselves. But that probably doesn't happen until the second half of 2023.
That's soon, though.
Yeah.
That's right around the corner.
Yeah.
That's already New Year's.
Right? It's
Yeah.
right around the corner. Wow. I can totally see her music with your screenplay. Boom.
It's interesting, Alyssa, because some of the things that you talk about and some of the things that you write about, and people listen to your music and they can sort of relate to the words, and then all of a sudden you're going to have people sort of say that. Do you like the movies? Are you a big movie buff?
A big
Movie buff. Do you like the movies?
Oh, I love movies, yes.
So, you know, you look at people that come out of no place, like A Star is Born. You know, Lady Gaga played a role in that. And there's a woman that comes along and she sings for a guy one night who runs into that bar. He had no business going there, but he was there and he listens to her, and all of a sudden that right set of eyes and ears puts her on a huge stage. And the next thing you know, I mean, Lady Gaga's life was not what it is today. If you follow her,
Right.
and everything changed, man. And you talk about night and day. And these are some of the inspirational pieces that your music will bring your way. And it's interesting because all of a sudden you're noticing things that have been with you forever.
I know. Kind of like what you said with that piece you did when you were 13.
Yes.
Yep.
And there it is. And today she says, oh my God, what is this? Why is this here? And what? It's always been there. You just notice. You know, it's like I say, we got to catch up. And you know, you and I have differed on this.
Yes.
Right? Manifestation versus catching up. I don't believe in the manifestation stuff. I just think we got to catch up. I think it's always been there. It stays in front of you. And you walk around it until one day you go, hey, look at that.
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That was pretty much what happened.
OMG and OMG and OMG.
Pretty much it, yeah.
So, pardon me that I'm not shocked, but it's always been there. Right?
She's always been there.
Mm-hmm. Switcheroo. Yes. And your singing is going to inspire many, many,
Thank
many.
you.
More than the way you wear your hair, more than the shoes that you wear, even though that's going to be important too. You can ask J-Lo a little bit about that as well. It's all part of the business, but the words. So it always comes back to the words.
All right, we're going to take a commercial break. More to come when we come back. It is National Fruitcake Day. Haven't seen one around here in a while. Had a fruitcake? But apparently the panettone in Italy,
Yeah.
there's some companies that make over 1,000 a day just to keep it in stock.
How long does a fruitcake last?
Inquiring minds want to know.
Because I've seen some that are 8, 9 years.
You just regift it over and over and over again?
Yes. I got
the
one,
years?
and the lady says, don't open it. It says, don't open it.
You know the song Through the Years? Imagine doing that with the fruitcake and
Oh my
passing it
God.
on to generation, right? And it starts you where it ends
Well, you're
up.
not supposed to eat it, right?
I think you are, but I don't know if anyone who eats them. If you eat a fruitcake, let us know.
Yeah, give us a call.
Stay tuned, 888-994-4995, Studio A, and we'll be right back.
Welcome to AMP2 TV, the first and only internet production company that's truly plugged in. When you're looking for a full-service internet radio, TV production company, discover AMP2 TV. AMP2 TV is a full-service media company that can provide all streaming videos, video studios, radio studios, and television studios. Call us today at 866-224-5422, for no business is too small to grow to be accounted. It's time for your message to be seen. Let AMP2 TV help get you there.
Stephanie Jaffe is a world-renowned artist who creates one-of-a-kind pieces. Using a keen sense of color and composition, her vibrant collages and mosaics integrate eclectic elements such as vintage keepsakes and fine china with blown glass and fired clay to create whimsical arrangements. For more information about her work, come down to the Brooklyn Cafe TV studio or go to StephanieJaffeArt.com.
Welcome to Lost Harbor Spirits, a world where pirates inspire our spirits, treasures remain undiscovered, and flavors are infused with the essence of mysterious voyages. The distillery became one of the few women-owned craft spirits production sites in the U.S. From our award-winning spirits of vodka and rum to delicious gin, we're always coming up with some new and exciting flavors to keep your cocktails delicious and fresh. Contact Palm Beach Distillery at lostharborspirits.com to take a tour or purchase your favorite spirit at your local liquor store.
Has someone in your family lost a job recently and now you can't afford your mortgage payment? Or do you have a rental property and your tenants aren't paying you? We can come to the rescue and pay you cash for your home immediately. Yes, sell your home and get cash all over the phone without dealing with real estate agents or having to waste time showing your home to lukewarm buyers. You don't need to lose your house to foreclosure. If you have equity in your home, we'll buy your home and give you cash within days, all in a simple over-the-phone and virtual process. Call now before your situation gets worse. Sell a home you can't afford or just need anymore and get the cash you need today. Call this number now.
Call 855-348-5925. That's 855-348-5925. Again, 855-348-5925.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
I gotta go home and get my parka.
I think it's the only time the AC has not kicked on in this place.
No, don't turn it on.
Look at you, you're freezing. How did you live in New York?
Freezing. I didn't. You know, when I lived in New York, I hated to go out and shovel. So they bought me one of those electric things. I hated that. So I gave it to a kid to do. He broke it, so I had to go back to doing it again. I said, Florida, here I come.
You could not do it.
I can't. And then people want to go up north. You know, they want to take me to New York to see this ball drop, right? I go to New York, I don't need to see a ball drop. I'm going to drop because it's like 11 degrees. I ain't going up there. Who the hell wants to go to that?
Coldest in 50 years? No.
Well, now that my sister says, no, Freddie, it's going to be 70. Yeah, right. It's going to be like 40. Even that's cold because it's that wind. You know, New York has all those big buildings. So that wind, and it hits your bones and you free. And nah.
We had that here, and no, thank you very much after the
cold
weekend.
enough here.
It was beautiful. Yeah.
But they tell me it's nice and warm outside now. Is that true?
Yeah.
I think it's colder in here than outside, right? Yeah. And they have to open the gate. Yeah. No way.
Alyssa, while you're on this whole singing circuit, interview circuit, what have you learned by doing this? Has it changed your delivery, your answers, your thoughts?
I think at first it was a little weird, like people questioning me and stuff. I was like, oh, I don't know what to say. But I pretty much just give my real answers now because it's like I've gotten more comfortable. I used to be very shy, like when I was younger, but actually performing and like doing interviews have helped me come out of my shell a lot. Now I'm not scared and stuff. So it's just a thing where you have to get used to answering questions and know what to say and what not to say and stuff like that. But, you know, it's life too. You have to do that in life too. So the only difference is this is a camera.
True that. You have siblings?
No, I'm an only child.
So you must have a lot of friends.
Me?
Yeah.
I think I would say I have a lot of friends, but I only have a couple close friends. You know, I try to stay out of the high school drama that goes on, even though sometimes I get sucked into it. I try to choose my friends that don't like to do that or sabotage me in any way, because, you know, they do that. So, but I have a couple close friends and a broad variety of friends too.
So when you write a new song, right? You write the song. I'm sure you share it with your parents because Dad is in the music business as well. And now you have this new song and you really, really like it a lot. What happens?
So if I I would then bring it to some people, maybe like past co-writer of mine, and see if she thinks that would be good for recording. And then if everybody agrees that this is the next song we should record, we head to Nashville and record it.
What about if you think it should be recorded? Your belief. You say, you know something? This song is super duper inspirational to you.
Yes, I mean, that definitely is something that I believe should happen. But, you know, sometimes you need other opinions too, because like, what if the song truly is awful and someone hears it and they're like, that's not.
It's not going to be awful though.
Ah, thank you.
Yeah, definitely not going to be awful.
It's happened. But thank you guys.
Are you going to major in music at school?
Yeah, music business is what I want to major in, just because, that gives you pretty much everything, and also a lot of things happen in the music business, so it would be cool to know how to manage that kind of stuff and everything.
Man, could they use someone like you? Right, there's stuff in the music business that goes on. We know someone who had a rough time of it.
Yes.
Someone sold them a bill of goods, and they gave them their money, and it was not legitimate.
But he got the money back. It took a deal to get it back, but he got it back, thank God. But it's interesting. I asked you that question because I asked the same question to James Brown, the guy that was in here. And this guy, he doubled for James Brown. He worked with him, Michael Jackson, everything else. And he's an entertainer. That's what he does for a living. I'm going to ask him maybe to show up on Thursday if he'll come down and holler with us. And he said to me, there was a time that he would say, okay, what do you think? And he had a whole room full of people. And the music wasn't done because the room full of people said, marketing and this and that, it doesn't really fit what we have. And now he says, if I like a song bad enough, then he'll do it. He says, listen, let's do this, let's get it done. And he's trying to convince people now in that room to take it. So things have changed a little bit for him as well. But I noticed that there are certain songs that you sing, because I follow you on YouTube, certain parts of the music that you sing are really strong. Like you got a real hold on that music, and I can hear it in certain things that you do as well. So I was curious to find out what the future is going to hold, because you're going to write a lot of songs. That's what you do.
Yeah. Thank you, by the way. I have some stuff planned for the coming year, going and recording some new ones that I wasn't able to play today because copyright and everything, but I'm really excited for that. You can write many songs. It's always hard to narrow it down, but it's always nice to hear other people's advice as well. If there ever is a song where I'm like, I really think that I just need to release, then I would be allowed to do that, but it's always nice. There hasn't been one like that yet, but usually if that would happen, I would be able to.
Are you working on another one now?
Yeah, I have a couple. I always have so many songs started. It's just like I get like an idea, someone says something, and I'm like, oh, that's a song, and then like I write in my notes. And then I'll create something on the guitar, and I'll be like, oh, that's very cool. And then I'll put it together, I don't like forcing myself because that's not fun, You don't want anything unnatural or something that sounds forced. But when it's time for that, I write the song.
Yeah, we've met people in here that sing, people that write lyrics, but not everyone writes the music and the lyrics and performs it. So the gift that you have to do all of it, you probably don't realize what a gift it is. But we come in here and someone writes a lyric and we have to introduce them to a composer and they bring it to their technical person, and it's a whole team approach. You actually do all of it. You can do all of this yourself. And you just sit down and do it. Such a talent. I'm sure your dad realizes what a talent you are because he knows, yeah.
It's funny because JD wrote a song and it hit Europe. It went to Europe. That was that new hit, the Chevy song, whatever, the backseat of a Chevy. And they played it over there and they blew it up over there. And now they brought it back over here. And over here, it doesn't have the same impact that it had over there, even though it's popular for her here. It just blew up the circuit in Europe. So sometimes songs that you hear find their own level of growth wherever you put them. So I think you're young enough to be able to say that you're going to be writing lots of songs for you and for other people. I love Lionel Richie and some of those other guys that sang. They play songs and other people made them hits. You heard Lionel Richie say, I sang the song and she sang it and it became a hit for her. Mm-hmm. And it happens. It's just the nature of the beast of the business. But I'm curious to see where you're going to land and where you're going to be. I'm curious to see and follow your career. Same thing I had with Kendra. Again, Kendra will be here tomorrow. And I remember Kendra when she first started, and we had an iHeart with her mom.
Kendra Erica.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, Kendra now is doing some super stuff, and if you tune in tomorrow, you'll find out.
And back. How can people find your music, Alyssa?
On all streaming platforms, it's just Alyssa Marie Kuhn. And there's stuff on there. You could find my websites there too and everything. Yeah.
Anything special on the horizon that we should be looking out for?
Some new music, maybe an acoustic version to a song I recently released. So yeah, check it out.
You were playing on Tin something?
Tin Roof.
Tin Roof.
Yeah. I play there a lot. The one in Delray.
That's where Cece used to play, Tin Roof. I think Josh played there one time with him. I think it was Tin Roof. I gotta find out.
I don't know. We'll have to ask. All right, we're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, more with Lynn and Louise, Past Lives. Alyssa, maybe will give us one more song when we get back. All right, stay tuned. 888-994-4995, Studio A, and we'll be right back.
In times of economic uncertainty and chaos, your money means nothing. You may not even be able to get it from your bank or ATM. What you can bank on is gold and silver. Gold and silver have been a reliable and trusted form of currency for thousands of years. Call the Gold Hotline now and learn how to protect your money and your assets with gold and silver. Protect your money from the next market crash with gold and silver. Call now for your free gold guide.
Born in Marseille, France, Max Lazega creates whimsical and free-flowing interpretive art. His 40 years in the construction industry created the foundation for his craft. His unique work displays his view of the future with bold and playful combinations of materials and processes, but the methodology remains consistent. He fuses recycled materials and discarded building supplies into a fresh, well-executed approach. Lazega has lived in Miami, Florida most of his life, where he pursues his lifelong passion of creating industrial art. For more information, contact Max Lazega at artworkstudios.org or 786-326-8873.
Meet Jay Harmon, one of the many artists held in the Brooklyn Cafe Gallery. Jay specializes in various different art styles, but his medium to work with is colored pencils. His unique style comes from being self-taught and years of practice. Jay pulls his inspiration from many outlets like people, television, celebrities, and many more. With multiple original pieces, Jay's art graces the gallery with over 40 plus works for viewing and for purchase. His many years of being an artist has given him a chance to partner with the Derwent brand, giving him the opportunity to try many different work styles and further his craft. Feel free to come down and visit the studio to view his work, or if you're interested in your own Jay Harmon original, he's open to commissions on his website, coloredpencilartist.com, or catch his show, The Colored Pencil Artist, on Amp Media Productions on YouTube and Facebook. See you soon.
What would you do if you had a broken bone? You'd go to the doctor and use your insurance, right? What would you do if you had a serious problem with drugs and alcohol? Most people do nothing until it's too late. Your insurance can help you get clean and sober with the assistance of a place like the Detox and Treatment Helpline. Many times treatment is fully covered, so why not use your insurance to treat your addiction problem just like you would if you had a broken bone? And with the Family Medical Leave Act, you're allowed by law to take off time from work, and your employer doesn't need to know the reason. So there are two good reasons. You've got insurance you can use for your addiction problem, and with the Family Medical Leave Act, it's completely confidential. Call us right now and save a life.
Call 855-350-4504. That's 855-350-4504. Call 855-350-4504 now.
Want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call, because the best prices are not online. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner. Call today and get the best price on your next flight, guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first class tickets.
Artist Rosie Sherman paints her passions to share with everyone. Expressing herself through bold and vibrant colors, her suggestion and style are always in flux. Inspired by travels, nature, romance, and the human spirit, Rosie makes sure her depiction of women are strong and proud. Her landscapes illustrate the changing seasons in the diverse world that we live in. To find her artwork in the multiple medias you can purchase, visit rosiesherman.pixels.com.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
No GPS, turn off your phone. We don't need it on this two-lane road. What would you say if I got a way to let all our worries go? Full tank gas, four-wheel drive. We're cruising down I-95. Let's break the rules and miss curfew and leave the world in our rear view. Whoa, put your hands at the rooftop window. Pick a spot on the map nobody knows. We'll be singing every word our speakers are playing through the radio. And whoa, as soon as that sun starts falling down, I know it's a little hell out on the town. Right about now, to me that sounds like a real, real good night. Walk the streets to those downtown clubs, find an old beach chalet under the sun, and go get lost on a no-name road in the middle of nowhere. Call a few friends, invite them out. If the cops show up, wanna shut it all down. Party till the sun comes up, 'cause ain't nobody ever stopping us. Whoa, put your hands at the rooftop window. Pick a spot on the map nobody knows. We'll be singing every word our speakers are playing through the radio. And whoa, as soon as that sun starts falling down, no raise a little hell out on the town. Right about now, to me that sounds real, real good night. Like a real, real good night. Whoa, throw your hands at the rooftop window. Pick a spot on the map nobody knows. We'll be singing every word our speakers are playing through the radio. And whoa, as soon as that sun starts falling down, I know it raise a little hell out on the town. Right about now, to me that sounds like a real, real good night. Whoa, oh, like a real, real good night. Like a real, real good night.
Very nice.
I think I could watch her sing and play all day, and I'm not even her mom. I
What-
can't imagine what joy you must both get by watching her talent.
When are you going to be at the Tin Roof again?
Well, I don't know the date actually. I'm sorry, but it's on my website and my social medias. I post
That's good
everywhere
enough.
I'm going to
We'll
be
check it out. That's good enough.
before I'm there. So thank you guys.
Thank you so much for coming and joining us, Dad. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Anytime
for
wanna
having
come,
me.
I have a feeling we're going to be seeing you on a Thursday night.
I would
is
love
so
that.
Great. But I think I could watch you all day. And you smile every single time you sing. And I think that's just pure joy to watch a kid enjoy what you're doing so much and just keep smiling.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for having me today.
Keep smiling. Our pleasure. One day we'll get to meet Mom as well.
Oh, yes.
Awesome. Thank you. Josh, thank you. I'm wondering if our music man over there gets inspired to write some lyrics. Do you? I love
Look at the face.
I can't do that solo stuff. I need a group with me.
A group?
I need a group with me.
Well, got Mayora on drums, and I'm sure we could get someone to do something to help you out as a group.
She sings backup vocals.
Doo-wop, doo-wop.
I saw you sing, by the way. I got the tape.
Yeah, I know.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, all that stuff.
It's really nice to watch that whole thing unfold with her. I'm thinking also we got to make an announcement. We are actually going to be bringing Night Train back.
This Thursday.
This Thursday, yes. But we're going to end up doing Night Train on our After Hours Cafe show.
That's right, we talked about that, didn't we?
We talked about mixing and matching a little bit of music, a little bit of talk, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, just like today. I kind of look forward to that on Monday nights, to do that.
That'll be nice.
But we, this Thursday night, we have who?
Johnny Melnick, piano man, in the house. Hopefully Johnny's feeling well enough. He'll be joining us. And of course, we've got the editor's desk this Thursday night.
Yes, we have a bunch of stuff.
And we haven't had a chance to really ask them what their vision is going forward with
For
the editor's
Editor's
desk.
Desk?
Yeah.
Well, let's find out.
Let's see what Lynn and Louise wanted, what we're looking forward to in 2023 with editor's desk.
Do you want to go?
So the mission that we have is to inspire a whole new generation of readers and writers. You know, we have a lot of people who are just glued to their screens all the time, all right? And they're not, and you guess you can read a book on a tablet or a phone, but most people aren't doing that, right? They're in social media and other places, and yet there's a whole world that opens up inside a book. And, you know, what I have seen is that the best writers are the best readers. Because the more you read, the more access you have to words and phrases in your mind. Your vocabulary, excuse me, your vocabulary gets bigger, and you're just able to flow with the writing process a little easier. So that's our focus, and one of the things we're going to be doing is looking for creating opportunities for younger kids.
That's right.
Like high school kids. Yep. And we have a new program that we're working on that we haven't launched yet, but there'll be more details coming out about that in the next couple of months. And because we want to really help younger people to be able to have the writing skills and to be able also to develop a love for reading. And so there'll be more and more things coming. At the same time, we're going to be going deeper into the spiritual world on the show.
Yeah,
and
sharing what our experiences have been, because some people, it may resonate with some people. You know, it may resonate where they can identify with certain things that have happened to us. And I believe by sharing that, we'll be able to tap into a whole new audience, right?
Yeah, and that's really part of it for us is delivering value and being of service to people, and also helping be a place where people can expand their minds and expand their thinking and understand that a lot of these things don't have to be pick one or the other.
Right.
That they can coexist. And you know, it's like, so you can have a traditional belief and you can have a belief that seems out there, but they can actually fit together very nicely. And so, you know, those are, it's a little bit vague, but those are some of the things that we're working on.
Well, you have different things, like you have people that are singing on the show. That's a different twist.
Yep.
We're going to be moving you guys around a little bit to use more of the assets in the studio, which I'm looking forward to as well, which you did on your last show. You did a marvelous job, and I like the interaction on how that works. It sort of makes everything flow, so that's nice. And then the question is that I have for you is that everybody wants to write a book, they're afraid to do it. So are you going to invite the public to come in, maybe meet with you during a show, after a show, so you can show them how effective it can be, and you can show them how to do it? Are we still doing that?
Yeah, it's so for me personally, I am feeling this pull within my own soul to write more of my own books. I started a new one a couple weeks ago called The 7 Layers of Truth. And it's really an exploration of the whole awakening process. And so I'm working on that. I've got another book I know that I want to write after that. And so I'm looking at kind of pulling back on the author coaching that I've been doing, but to come up with some things that will support larger numbers of people. So like doing a webinar or doing a seminar or doing something for people that want to start writing a book, to give them some support as a group to get them started. And then we'll look and see what's available in terms of how they can get editorial support and publishing support and things like that. And it's funny because I think we're both so grateful that the response to the show has been so wonderful. And, you know, I know, Dawn, both you and Freddie will tell us, oh, we just met another person that wants to write a book, and I've got a stack of business cards. And it's all wonderful. But to do that work means I'm not listening to my own soul.
Right.
And writing, doing what I need to do.
Right.
And so, you know, I don't know what all this looks like long term, but I've already started a book. I did a workshop 5 years ago called How to Write Your Book and Get It Published. That's already the beginning of a book, about 9,000 words written on that. And that's from close to 5 years ago.
Wow.
Not a whole lot. Well, some things have changed, but not that much. But so the goal really is to empower more people to get themselves started on the writing journey. I will be offering a service which is called the book planning session, and I can do that one-on-one with people to really get them. They would do the webinar, but then I would take them into their own individual book and really help understand what it is that they want to create, and then create a roadmap for them
I
to
find
follow.
it so interesting for people to speak their truths, because I don't think people speak their 100% truths.
Right.
They may give you a truthful answer.
Right.
Or they may give you the truth of what you want to hear. Don't look at me like that. Stop. But to honestly speak your 100% truth, I think it's hard for a lot of people to do.
Not an easy process. Not
because
an easy
there's so
journey.
much judgment and so many things you take up into that point of your life when you
Right.
decide, oh, I'm going to speak my truth. And there may be feelings you hurt. There may
Sure.
be prejudgments that you change.
Right.
Change of friends, change of, I can't say families, but significant others.
Yeah.
Because when your truth is truly your truth, may not be in alignment with what they thought it was.
Right.
It uncovers a whole lot of messy stuff sometimes.
Right. But in the long run, it does become freeing.
Yes, I can see that.
It could stir up a lot of different things, but in the long run, it is a soul-freeing journey, because that's what happened to me.
Have you written another book, Louise, or this one?
No, just this one. But, you know, getting back to speaking your truth, you know, going through my divorce, you know, not listening to my inner truth. You know, I was suppressing and blocking the little voice in my head. I'm like, my inner conversation and my outer, you know, conversation is quite different. So I knew I was not speaking my truth. So that was a tough one, but eventually becomes so freeing, and not an easy excavation, let's just say, but definitely worth it.
Right, not everyone does it in a book. You
No.
spoke it, you
Right.
spoke
Well-
your truth through living your life.
Correct. Like I knew I had to get a divorce because I wasn't speaking or living my truth. I just said, this is not what my truth looks like, you know. It was a messy journey, but worth it, right?
Yeah, there is a process that I have created to help people understand how to speak their truth. It's a number of steps that you can follow. The challenge for a lot of people is that they don't speak their truth, and then it builds up in them. But it's not just the truth that builds up; it's the resentment, the bitterness, the anger that builds up.
Could end up manifesting as a disease or an illness.
Yes.
Because you've been holding something for years, right?
Or when you finally decide to talk, to put your truth into words, it's like, you know, being next to a volcano.
Yeah.
Where there's ash and there's fire and everything coming out, and you're destroying the person you're speaking your truth to. That's really not speaking your truth.
Right.
That's speaking your anger.
That's right.
But it takes time for people to understand where all of it starts is learning to speak your truth to yourself.
That's right.
Because the person each of us lies to the most is us.
Mm-hmm.
Every lie that you told another person began as a lie you told yourself.
That's right.
And if you can catch yourself in the lie that you're telling yourself, you can stop yourself from lying to someone else.
Or not telling the truth. I don't know if a
Well-
lie is.
Well, a lot of people do that because they want to protect themselves for a lot of different reasons. But it's a breath of fresh air to be able to meet two people who understand the reason people do these things, and you
Right.
understand it better than anybody else that I've met. Is to disguise the pain. It's to disguise the fear. It's to disguise I'm not good enough. I got to get divorced to save myself here.
Yeah.
And explaining it to some other soul who they just don't get it. Sometimes a divorce happens
Right.
because it needs to happen, not that you want it to happen.
Correct. Like,
But-
the story I made up was because my kids were younger, 9 and 11. And
You did it for them.
And the story I made up was, oh my God, if I get a divorce, I'm going to ruin my kids' lives. I'm going to break up the family. I mean, I made up this whole belief system of how bad it was going to be, not realizing mom speaking her truth and being happy ultimately is going to be the best thing for them. And I just had so many stories, whether it's beliefs that we have or stories we make up, but letting go of that story and listening to my inner truth and acting on it ultimately became the best example for my kids.
See, I think I would love to see that either as a segment of your show or a separate special
Okay.
edition called Speaking Your Truth.
Okay, I love that. We can definitely do that.
Because there's so many things, and I would love to see a segment on the show about you guys, about maybe each week you pick a chapter in your book and you do the first 10 minutes of your show, unless of course they're a sponsor.
Right.
And talk about the
Sure.
spiritual connection, your book, and elevate your book.
A learning tip of the week.
Yeah.
Right,
On the
you know,
show.
maybe one of the truths.
Yes.
Your 12
Yeah.
sacred. It gives you
Yes.
12 weeks to go through the book.
Definitely.
I think it's important that people, sometimes people want to know it's okay, that I'm okay because I'm not alone feeling this way.
Correct.
I'm not alone in thinking I'm going to destroy my two sons. In my case, I thought I was destroying their life. And I stayed in this relationship that wasn't working for me because I
Right.
was living through them. And as Pastor Bill says, do not create your own reality.
Right.
And I thought that was my reality. And it wasn't. It was a hurtful reality.
Yeah.
She's happy now. I'm happy now. And the kids are happy. I got to spend and see them in their environment. Everything's good.
Right.
As a matter of fact, I got to tell you, somebody in here says you're going to live a miracle this weekend. She was right. I can't argue that point.
Right.
It does happen. But I love to watch you guys work because this to me is about working. That's my environment, is working, making it better. I love to watch Josh work when the kids put on their shows because I learned something. I learned something about people. And it's amazing just how much people tend to need choices. And you present a choice. As you're learning your whole environment, as you're learning your journey, they sit back here and they go, you know something? I got to watch because I got to learn because we all have common stories that we share. Divorces, I've been divorced twice.
Wow.
You think I liked it so much I had to do it again?
You had more lessons to learn.
I had a lot of lessons to learn, but the one lesson I learned is about me.
Right.
And nothing to do about that side of the
Correct.
room. The problem
Right.
lies here. I learned the relationship with a mirror.
I think
learned
all of our problems lie here.
Yeah.
We point outwards and
That's
we blame a
right.
lot, but I
Right.
think a lot of our own issues start within us. And if we can speak our truth
Yes.
or find that soul connection from another life to help us carry out what our message is.
Absolutely.
message. Water is wet.
Message is, water is wet.
Water is wet.
It has
Learn
been
it.
so great to have you guys joining
Thank
us.
you so much.
I know they're giving us a countdown. I guess we got to wrap this up.
Yes.
Tune in Thursday nights at 5:30 to the editor's desk with Louise Gomez and Lynn Everard to find Alyssa's music. You can find her all over social media. Download it every which way. Alyssa Marie Kuhn. Josh is already out free-zonked for the day.
Come on in and catch a show. We're inviting people to the show. We have shows on 12, at 2, at 3, at 4. Josh, when is your show?
Today at 3 o'clock.
We have a
Talk
schedule that
Radio.
he don't even know, but come in and catch the Editor's Desk on Thursday night. I would like to bring more and more people into the studio. We'll put seats out and accommodate you if you have a question. If you want to just meet the host, come on down. We'll give you a cup of coffee. And
I like 2023. Speak your truth. I think that should be
it's a good one.
our hashtag of 2023.
Put it on the shirt, Mayor. Let's put it on the shirt.
Because I'm going to forget it in about 30
2023,
seconds.
speak your truth.
Speak your truth. Yes. Well, no, you're just in charge of remembering it for me. Have a great afternoon, everyone. Stay safe, be kind to each other, and we'll see you tomorrow, 9 a.m. drive time.
As always, don't be late.
Bye-bye.
Well, that's about it for today. Even though the show's over, the Brooklyn Cafe is always open for business. You're invited to join the fun every day from 12 to 2. If you missed some of the laughs from today, Dawn and Freddie S. will bring you more good cheer next time. You can follow the Brooklyn Cafe on Facebook at the Brooklyn Cafe TV to rewatch every minute of the show. We'll see you next time.